Beneath the sun-baked sprawl of Southern California, the Earth is whispering secrets, and it's getting louder. In just days, over 200 earthquakes have jolted the region, rattling towns from Palm Springs to the Salton Sea, sending hearts racing and nerves fraying. At first glance, it seemed like another routine swarm, a familiar tremor in quake-prone California. But dig deeper, and the story twists into something sinister. Quakes pulsing far below the usual fault lines, in depths untouched for centuries, defying every pattern scientists know. This anomaly has reignited the dread that haunts every Californian. Is the big one finally stirring? Fresh research paints a grim picture. The San Andreas Fault, that legendary scar across the Golden State, is under unprecedented strain, with parts already slipping in the shadows. Join me as we unearth what's truly churning beneath California, and why this discovery flips everything we thought we knew. Hold on tight, because the ground you stand on might be about to shift in ways we can't ignore. Over the past week, Southern California's underbelly has trembled relentlessly. More than 200 quakes have erupted near the Salton Sea and Brawley Seismic Zone, a labyrinth of minor faults hugging the southern edge of the San Andreas itself. It started like the usual suspects, small releases of pent-up energy, something residents have weathered every few years with a shrug. But the data defied logic. Many quakes clustered unusually deep, over 12 kilometers down, in crust that should be rock solid and immobile. That red flag pulled scientists in closer. Then came the real head-scratcher. Several tremors veered off the typical east-west paths, arcing toward the mighty San Andreas, like tributaries feeding a raging river. Alarm bells rang. This pattern echoed the prelude to a major rupture in the same zone years ago. Now, the swarm spans a 40-kilometer stretch, inching perilously close to the southern San Andreas segment, locked silent for over 300 years. And here's the spine-tingling twist. Seismographs detect faint tremors beneath that sealed fault, in layers that haven't budged in ages. Whatever's brewing under Southern California, it's no ordinary rumble. It's a harbinger pulsing with unease. Stretching nearly 800 miles through California's sun-drenched valleys and rugged ranges, the San Andreas Fault is the invisible thread that wove the state's destiny, and could unravel it in an instant. It's no lone fissure, but a web of fractures where the Pacific Plate grinds northwest, past the North American Plate, inching along at a relentless clip. To the untrained eye, it's just everyday terrain, highways, suburbs, farmlands. But below, titanic slabs collide with unyielding force, tension coiling like a spring ready to snap. Geologists slice it into three segments. The northern tore San Francisco asunder in 1906, birthing one of America's deadliest quakes that leveled blocks and ignited fires, a scar etched in the city's resilient soul. The central creeps steadily, venting stress in minor jolts. But the southern, from the San Bernardino Mountains to the Salton Sea, has slumbered eerily for over 3 centuries. That hush terrifies experts. Strain accumulates decade by decade, twisting tighter. Calculations show the southern section is long past its release threshold, decades overdue. When it breaks, expect nearly 2 minutes of fury, energy rivaling hundreds of nuclear blasts. Yet oddly, new readings hint at unusual motion, suggesting deeper forces are already at play. For the Cahuilla people, whose ancestral lands straddle this fault, earthquakes aren't just geological, they're sacred dialogues with the earth, woven into creation stories where tremors signal ancestral spirits reshaping the land, a cultural lens blending awe and vigilance. As experts pored over the swarm's data, an anomaly leaped out. Low-frequency tremors hummed nearly 20 kilometers deep, far below the fracturing crust. Dismissed at first as noise, storms or sensor glitches, cross-checks across stations confirmed the eerie rhythm. The ground under the southern San Andreas wasn't still. It was humming, smooth and slow, like a fault grinding in agonizing slow motion. Seismologists dub them deep tremor bursts, subtle slips that often foreshadow a locked fault's unraveling months in advance. The location? Dead on the zone primed for a magnitude 7.8 or greater. Adding fuel to the fire, 2025 satellite data reveals a narrow crustal strip near the Salton Sea, uplifting several centimeters in weeks. Plates shifting not just sideways, but vertically. This duo, deep tremors plus uplift, is a rare harbinger, the kind signaling a fault's imminent readjustment. But is it easing pressure or priming the pump? No one dares say. With the tremors verified, the next puzzle piece terrified. These quakes aren't scattered. They chain northward from the Salton Sea toward the San Jacinto Fault, a hyperactive parallel to the San Andreas. Stress on one can leap to the other, like interlocking gears. A 2025 USGS analysis reveals the Brawley swarm relieves mere scraps of tension. The bulk funnels north, straight into the locked southern San Andreas. Far from soothing, it's supercharging the beast. If true, a rupture could spark a domino cascade, igniting nearby faults in a frenzy. Scientists now eye every tremor warily. Each could be the spark in a powder keg we never saw coming. In California's diverse communities, from Latino enclaves in Riverside to indigenous groups along the fault, social preparedness varies wildly, with recent drills highlighting inequities in evacuation access and retrofitting, underscoring the human stakes in this seismic saga. If the southern San Andreas snapped today, the onslaught wouldn't whisper, it'd roar. USGS ShakeOut models forecast a magnitude 7.8 ripping at nearly 2 meters per second, shaking for up to 2 grueling minutes. Envision highways buckling, skyscrapers swaying like willows, freeways fracturing mid-rush in Los Angeles, Riverside, and San Bernardino. Untouched older concrete crumbles first, gas lines erupt in flames, lowlands liquefy, gulping cars and homes like quicksand. Power grids could black out for weeks, water mains and fiber lines for months. Damages? Over $200 billion, rivaling history's costliest calamities. But the dread deepens. Prolonged silence amplifies the fury. Each year coils more strain. If it cascades, the quakes chain on, long after the initial jolt. The big one isn't folklore, it's a ticking clock. And 2025 signals scream it's winding faster. For generations, Californians have danced with this shadow, knowing the fault slumbers uneasily. But after 200-plus quakes, deep tremors, and Salton Sea uplift, that knowing feels like a heartbeat quickening. What sets this apart? Puzzle pieces aligning, tremors, deformation, stress shifts, all at once, as if Earth's pleading for attention. Where might it ignite? Some bet on the southern tip under the Salton Sea, that ancient, locked stretch. Others eye the San Jacinto Junction, beneath LA's teeming millions. Or perhaps it's a riddle we've yet to crack. What's your hunch? South by the Salton Sea, or nearer LA's lights? Share below. I'll spotlight the sharpest takes. Because on the San Andreas, every whisper counts.